70 books, 70 books, 400 scholarly articles. Niklas Luhmann, a famous, prolific researcher and writer. How is this possible? The right tools and approach can be the difference between just wanting success and actually achieving success. In this video, let's discuss how note taking is a game changer to achieve mastery. And mastery is just being able to use your knowledge to achieve your goals, whether it's making money or getting a promotion or writing more or whatever. Once we agree on the power of note taking, I'll also discuss how you can get started taking smart notes. So why do I say that note taking is a game changer? Let's take a look at Anne over here and Bob. Both of them want to succeed in their careers, but then the way that they approach their goal is a bit different. Anne just does her work, and whenever she encounters a problem while doing her work, she just tries to solve it. So that's how Anne goes about her work. But Bob spends time actively learning stuff, and he tries to connect stuff that he learns with the knowledge that he already has, and in this manner, he constantly learns as well as uses new knowledge in his job. Now, who do you think would achieve success in their career? It would definitely be Bob, and it's because he uses a secret tool to actually put this into practice, which is smart notes. Remember, if you have two equally motivated people who are equally capable of achieving a certain goal, if you equip one with the right tools and attitudes, that person is much more likely to actually achieve the goal. So that's why Bob was able to achieve his goal, because he had the right tools, which is smart notes. Now, why does taking smart notes set apart or differentiate Bob? Let's take a look at that. Taking smart notes gives him 3 superpowers. First, notice that Bob has actually a working system in place to take notes. While Anne was just arbitrarily trying to learn new stuff, Bob had a system that helped him remember what he learned constantly, as well as connect stuff that he's learning to existing knowledge. And this helped him escape the trap of the illusion of knowing something. Remember, last time when you read something and you had the illusion that you actually learned something, but then when you try to talk about it to somebody, you just blabber, right? You're not able to talk about it effectively because actually you had just an illusion of learning. But Bob has a system in place to escape that by connecting new knowledge to existing knowledge. The second superpower that smart notes gave Bob is the ability to approach building knowledge and approaching creativity from a bottom-up approach. Now, what is the difference between a bottom-up approach and a top-down approach when it comes to learning new things? A top-down approach is where you're preparing for an exam, for example. You have the syllabus well laid out and you just need to learn topic by topic and try to master it. But then, rarely does creativity and excellence in the real world come in this manner. What you need to rather do is follow a bottom-up approach where you think of ideas separately, and then once you learn an idea, if you can relate it to other areas of your life and other areas of your work, if you can make those vital connections between ideas and concepts, that's where you will see that actual creativity starts to shine. Maybe think of things like learning something that's popular in biology and being able to apply that to computer science. Now again, that's one of the ways in which artificial intelligence has been progressing. The third superpower that smart notes gave Bob is that writing is in fact thinking. Anne had the misconception that she could only write after completing her thoughts and after mastering her thinking. But Bob, through the system of smart notes, knew that writing is in fact thinking. So there was no need to prepare before writing. So once Bob had learned something, he would just go about making his smart notes, and in that manner, there was no friction because Bob knew that writing is in fact thinking. He would just learn a new topic and then go about writing about it using his smart notes, and in this way, there was no friction preventing him from starting to write. And actually, when he was writing, he was engaging in deep thinking, forming connections between what he had already learned and what he was learning. And in this way, he was systematically and continuously improving his skills. Now, you may say that, what if I end up making thousands of notes and then what if I never revisit them? This is where having a system for taking smart notes becomes extremely important. So, how to take smart notes? For this, let's talk about 2 aspects of smart notes, and then let's see how we can apply these in a practical manner through using a digital tool. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the characteristics that are required for smart notes. Let's say you're learning something new, and for you to convert that idea into a smart note, you should be able to express that idea in an active manner or in your own words. Now, what does it mean to express that idea in an active manner? It means that you're able to process that information and then rephrase it in your own framework or in your own words. So this is the first characteristic of smart notes. The second characteristic is that they should be atomic in nature, or you should just have one idea per smart note. And finally, smart notes have to be connected with each other, which means that once you get an idea, try to connect it to knowledge that you already have. So these are the three characteristics of smart notes, and we will see how using a digital tool will help you actually implement smart notes. But before that, let's also take a look at the two levels of note taking, which is a concept that I've learned from the Zettelkasten system. Now, in this system, there are two levels of note taking. Now, we just need to know that in level 1, we have fleeting notes and literature notes. So fleeting notes are things that come to your mind probably while you're in the gym or while you're showering, and you can capture these thoughts and write them down so that you don't lose your trail of thought. And literature notes are notes that you take when you read. It could be about things where you actually want to become an expert in, or you want to develop mastery in. So literature notes are again notes that you take about things that you learn. And again, remember, we will see how we can actually implement them and take such notes with the characteristics that we previously discussed. The second level of note taking is that you convert your literature notes and your fleeting notes into permanent notes. Now, permanent notes are notes that actually help achieve your goal or further your pursuit of something, or help you in your projects or passions. So once you are able to capture new things, and then once you're able to write them down using the principles or characteristics that we have discussed, and when you have a plan and a system in place to convert fleeting and literature notes into permanent notes, you will see that you will develop a way of constantly improving yourself and achieving mastery and deep knowledge and understanding in areas that you desire, so that you will be able to come up with original ideas in a creative manner. So we have discussed the characteristics of smart notes, and we have discussed the two levels that smart notes require. Now let's take a look at how we can practically write smart notes through using a digital system. When it comes to using a digital tool to take smart notes, the ground rules are you just need to get started and don't try to get overwhelmed with all the possible features and options that the tool provides. You just need to know your fundamentals and what you're trying to achieve. And then as you keep taking smart notes, you will see that your methodology will evolve. And in this manner, you will be able to develop a system that suits your unique needs. So the tool that I would like to introduce over here is Obsidian. So let's go ahead and download Obsidian, and let's see how we can create a note and link that note to another note to actually start creating smart notes. So the first step is just to install Obsidian. So over here, you can click Get Obsidian for Mac OS or Windows, and you can download Obsidian. Now you can just go ahead and create a vault. Now a vault is just a place where all your notes will be stored. Now for this example, let me call my vault Smart. Now Obsidian has a lot of features, but over here I just want to show a very simple example to get started with taking smart notes. Now smart notes have the characteristics that we discussed. They should be in your own words. They need to be atomic and just talk about or focus on one idea. You can use supporting ideas, but they should just focus on. And finally, the aim is to connect new knowledge with existing knowledge. So over here I have set up two folders. The first folder is level 1, where we will be storing our fleeting and literature notes, and the second folder over here is called level 2, and over here we will be storing our permanent notes. Now I'm just walking through an example over here demonstrating how taking smart notes can help us come up with original ideas. So for this example, let's say that we have read the book Atomic Habits, and I've created a literature note because again, it's a note created by reading a book. So that's why it's a literature note. So over here, I've written about the concept of streaks. And in the book Atomic Habits, there's a concept that you should try not to miss a habit 2 days in a row. And then the desire to keep up the streak builds motivation to continue with the habit. So over here, I've written a very simple note about this particular interesting concept, and I've written it in my own words, and I've referenced it to the source of this idea. Then I have written another literature note on tiny habits. Over here in the book Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, there is an idea that you should keep habits to a low level of challenge initially, so that you can first build consistently doing that habit, and then you can slowly increase the challenge level. So over here, the concept is that success breeds success. So having a lower level of challenge initially helps to get the ball rolling. So over here also notice I have written this concept in my own words, and I've referenced it to a book. And again, we're just having a very simple example over here with the focus of how to create permanent notes from fleeting and literature notes. Now, there's a third book, the Checklist Manifesto. In this book, Atul Gawade, he talks about the power of checklists and how engineers use it to build skyscrapers and put rockets in space. So again, over here also I've written an interesting concept that I got from this book, that checklists are so powerful. And again, the fact that it's used by engineers for such complex tasks shows its power. And the reason for its power is that it effectively breaks down complex things into smaller manageable chunks. Now, I have all these level 1 notes. Now, notice over here in level 2, I have a note which I created during my scheduled time to create permanent notes from my fleeting and literature notes. Now, you can set this up once in 3 days or once in a week, whichever way is suitable for you. Now, the concept that I have over here is success breeds success. Now, let's say that I had already worked upon this permanent note, and I've included concepts from Tiny Habit and Atomic Habits over here. You can see that it's already included over here. and this happened in my regular review. And notice that these are linked to the level 1 notes. So these are just links. So when you click on this, you will go back to this note over here. Now let's say that the latest addition over here is about the checklist manifesto, and I just had the thought that probably it would be interesting to incorporate principles from tiny habits and atomic habits into the way I can use checklists in my day-to-day activities to actually get more stuff done. So then when I synthesize these three pieces of information together, notice over here, building these connections is what helps to come up with original thoughts. And the thought that I have over here is, why not incorporate principles from tiny habits and atomic habits in the checklist that I can use? So the idea is, why not have a few very easy items on my checklist early on, so that I can build momentum and the challenge level is low. So I get the added advantage of not only using a checklist, but also building a habit of using checklists to consistently achieve success in complicated daily tasks. So this is the original thought which has come up by combining thoughts from tiny habits, atomic habits, and the checklist manifesto. In this way, notice over here, I've been able to synthesize information from level 1 to level 2. And again, we will probably discuss in a future video how to do this even more effectively using other Obsidian features such as tags, etc. Now over here, we have just used one feature, which is to have links. So whenever you create a permanent note, you can link it to your fleeting and literature notes. And let me re-emphasize, the power of the system is in that we have 2 layers of note taking, and we set time to regularly think through our fleeting and literature notes and connect them to our existing knowledge. Deeply understanding things and making smart notes will help you achieve mastery. Why don't you check out this video where I talk about my favorite study technique that helps me deeply understand things, and it's called the Feynman technique.